Have you ever stopped to think about what's really going on inside your computer? I mean, beyond just clicking and typing. It's not just a box of wires and silicon executing commands. It's a bustling, complex world, a whole digital society, complete with its own government, its own laws, and its own citizens. So today, we're going to explore that idea and reimagine your computer's operating system as a living, breathing society.
And this isn't just some crazy idea we cooked up. This quote from one of the foundational textbooks on the subject absolutely nails it. It says that an operating system, much like a good government, doesn't really do the useful work itself. Instead, its main job is to create the structure, the order, the environment that allows everything else, all your apps and programs, to get their own work done. It's the ultimate enabler, the silent administrator running the whole show.
So, if we're going with this idea that the OS is a society, how is it actually built? Well, just like any real city, it doesn't just spring into existence all at once. It's constructed carefully, piece by piece, and every single component has a critical role to play. So let's do it. Let's build this digital society together, starting with the most important part of any society, its government.
All right, first up, at the very heart of any functioning society, you've got a government. And in our digital world, that government has a name, the kernel. It's the absolute core of the operating system, the part that holds all the power and has the final say on everything.
So what exactly is the kernel? Well, you can think of it as the one program that is always running. I mean, from the second you power up your computer to the moment you shut it down, the kernel is awake, it's active, and it's managing everything behind the scenes. It's the president, the Constitution, and the entire civil service all rolled into one.
And the parallels here are just uncanny. On the technical side, the kernel is what controls the hardware. It allocates precious resources like CPU time and memory, and it basically directs traffic for every program. Now, think about our society. What does a government do? It provides public services, manages national resources, and enforces the laws that allow society to function smoothly. It's the exact same concept.
Okay, so if the kernel is the government, who or what is it governing? Well, it's governing the city's workforce. Every single program you run, your web browser, your music player, that game you play when you should be working, each one is a process in this digital society. And just like in a really busy city, you can't have everyone doing whatever they want whenever they want. It would be chaos. They need to be managed.
And that whole management act, it's called process scheduling. See, your computer's brain, the CPU, can really only do one thing at a time. But here's the magic trick. It is so unbelievably fast that the kernel can switch between tasks thousands, even millions of times per second. It juggles all of these different processes, giving each one a tiny, tiny slice of time. That's what creates the powerful illusion that you're multitasking, that you're doing a dozen things at once.
So how does it decide who gets to go next? A simple first-come, first-served system might sound fair, but it would be a disaster, like a city with no traffic rules, just one massive, permanent traffic jam. Instead, the OS is much smarter. It uses a priority-based system. Think about it. An ambulance with its sirens blaring gets to cut through traffic, right? Because its job is way more critical at that moment than someone just driving to the grocery store. The OS does the exact same thing, giving more important tasks priority to keep everything flowing.
Now, every society, every city, needs space for its citizens to live and work. In our digital world, this space is computer memory, and managing it is a lot like a form of urban planning. You can't just let programs set up shop wherever they want. That would lead to total chaos. The prime real estate, the high-value downtown property, is called main memory, or what we all know as RAM. The best way to think about this is like your home. It's super fast and it's easy to access everything inside, but it's limited in size. This is where all your active programs are living and working right now. But here's the catch. When the power goes out, poof, everything inside vanishes. It's volatile. So what happens when your home, your RAM, gets too crowded? Well, you get a storage unit, right? In our digital society, this is called virtual memory. The operating system does this really clever thing, where it uses your much slower but way bigger hard drive as an extension of your RAM. And this one technique is what allows you to run massive programs that are way bigger than the physical memory you actually have installed.
So the difference is pretty simple when you think about it. Grabbing something from inside your home, your RAM, is almost instant. But having to drive across town to your storage unit, your virtual memory, to get something, that takes a lot longer. This creates the fundamental trade-off in computing. RAM gives you incredible speed, while virtual memory gives you massive capacity. And the OS is constantly, frantically moving things back and forth, trying to give you the best of both worlds.
In any stable society, you have to have rules about who is allowed to do what. A regular citizen has a ton of rights and freedoms, but they can't just stroll into the national treasury and start printing money. That power is reserved for specially authorized officials. And believe it or not, our digital society works the exact same way. The operating system strictly enforces this separation through two distinct modes. When you're running a normal application, like your browser or a spreadsheet, it's running in user mode. You can think of this as citizen mode. The program has its own space, it can do its job, but it's walled off from accessing critical system hardware directly. But when the operating system itself needs to do something sensitive, the hardware switches over to kernel mode, the government official mode. In this privileged state, it has the keys to the entire kingdom. It can access anything and do anything.
So what happens when a citizen program needs the government to do something for it? Like, say, save a file to the hard drive. It can't do it directly. Instead, it has to make a formal, official request. This process is called a system call. It's the digital equivalent of filling out government paperwork. It's the proper channel for an app to ask the kernel to perform one of those privileged actions on its behalf. All right, our final pillar of society is all about knowledge and information. Think about a society's collective memory. All of its books, its records, its history, its data, all of that needs to be stored somewhere in an organized, accessible, and secure way. It needs a grand public library.
In our OS society, this grand library is the file system. Its main job is to create a simple, logical idea that we all understand, the file, which completely hides all the messy, complicated physical details of how bits and bytes are actually stored on a disk. It lets you think in terms of documents and folders, not magnetic sectors and data blocks.
And the comparison here is just spot on. A file system organizes all your data into directories, it keeps track of where every little piece of information is, and it manages permissions, who's allowed to read a file, who's allowed to change it. This is exactly what a national library or archive does. It catalogs all the information, makes it easy for you to find what you're looking for, and uses access controls to protect sensitive information.
So, as we wrap all this up, I want you to remember this. Your computer is so much more than just a static tool. The moment you press that power button, a dynamic, incredibly complex digital society springs to life. You've got a government, a workforce, real estate management, a whole system of laws, and a vast public library, all working in perfect harmony, thousands of times a second, right there under your fingertips.
And that leaves us with one final thought, a question for you. When you sit down at your computer, what's your role in this digital society? Are you just a citizen, following the rules and using the services it provides? Maybe a tourist, just passing through and observing? Or, when you open up that command line and start writing your own code, do you become something more? Maybe you become its ruler. Something to think about next time you boot up.